Good evening, I'm Terry McFadden. New at 11, a Notre Dame tennis player is speaking out after writing an article about his struggle with coming out. Matt Dooley's piece was published yesterday on Out Sports and details his emotional journey to self-acceptance. Since it was posted, the powerful piece has been shared thousands of times through Facebook and Twitter. News Center 16's Barbara Harrington spoke with Dooley and is now live in the newsroom. And Barbara, what made Dooley want to share his story?
Well, Terry says that article, it was difficult to write, but he did it in hopes of helping others. Dooley says he knows exactly what it's like to feel alone and be at conflict with yourself. Now he's working to make sure other people know it doesn't have to be that way. Notre Dame tennis player Matt Dooley has always been an athlete, but it's another part of his identity, his sexuality, that he struggled with for years.
I was obviously raised in a pretty intense environment. You know, Texas, pretty conservative, military family, Catholic family. You know, all these things add together to create a lot of pressure.
That pressure became too much for Dooley in 2011. In an article published Monday on Out Sports, Dooley writes about feeling overwhelmed and desperate, so he attempted to take his own life.
You wake up and in that kind of a situation, you know, I know in my piece I mentioned the word smothering, and that's really what it felt like. Mentally, internally, it's like you're struggling to breathe.
Even after getting out of the hospital, it took quite some time for Dooley to accept who he was. Finally, last summer, he made the decision to come out to his family.
Ever since then, they've been amazing. And from the very first time that I told them, they've been supportive.
And so were his teammates and coaches, who Dooley came out to in September, 2 years after his suicide attempt.
It was all positive, and everyone, you know, it was more like a thank you rather than anything. It was like as if I was demonstrating my trust in them.
Now Dooley says he's surrounded by support and he wants to help others. So he's teamed up with Notre Dame and the You Can Play project to make sure other LGBT athletes feel welcome.
This whole thing, the You Can Play initiative, is purely based on respect. It keeps politics out of it, and that's something that was really important to us because we knew it was a message that was universally acceptable. And I mean, you can't stand against it. Everyone deserves respect, and that's part of it. If you can play, you can play.
Now, Dooley says every team at Notre Dame has already agreed to help with the You Can Play project by appearing in a video promoting the cause. And he says finally being out to his family, his friends, and now the entire world is a really big relief.
And what type of response has he gotten since his story was published yesterday?
Terry, he says it's been a bit overwhelming, but he's so happy to hear other people have heard about his story. They can relate. They're feeling inspired. He's gotten a lot of texts, emails, and tweets from people thanking him for simply sharing his story. If you want to read the entire article, we've got a link on our website under the big red bar.